Look at your bank account. The numbers look safe. They look permanent. And for generations, we've been told the exact same lie. Work hard, spend less, and save your money for a rainy day. It feels like the ultimate financial security, doesn't it? But what if I told you that in today's economic system, this exact piece of advice is a trap? What if the money you are carefully protecting in that bank account is actually dying? From the time we're young, the concept of saving is just drilled into us by our parents and traditional financial institutions. When you open your banking app and see a steady balance, like, say, $100,000, it triggers this deep psychological comfort. It totally satisfies your brain's need for stability. But numbers are just a language of illusion. They completely mask the reality of what is actually happening to your purchasing power under the surface. To understand why saving money is literally financial suicide today, we really have to look at how the game changed. Because decades ago, banks rewarded savers. Back in the 1980s, you could put your cash in a savings account and earn 8, 10, or even 15% interest. Your money was actively out-earning inflation. You could build a real, solid future just by being disciplined because the bank was actually your partner. But look at today. Traditional mega banks offer interest rates that are practically insulting. We're talking about rates near zero, often sitting at 0.01%. The entire banking system has completely stopped functioning as a legitimate partner in preserving your wealth.
And the math here is just brutal. If your bank pays you less than 1% on your money, while the official, highly conservative inflation rate is constantly chewing up prices by 2, 3, or 4%, well, your net return is strictly negative. You aren't saving wealth. You are watching it melt away.
So the absolutely crucial point is this. You are effectively paying the banking system a hidden tax, the privilege of letting them hold your money. The digits on your screen, they remain unchanged, and that gives you a comforting illusion of safety. But the real-world value is evaporating with every single breath you take.
To really grasp why this is happening to you, we need to look at the specific historical moment that engineered this financial trap. The root of all this traces back to August 15, 1971, the Nixon Shock. This was the exact moment the United States completely abandoned the gold standard, fundamentally severing the link between the dollar and real physical commodities. Overnight, money became fiat currency. It became paper backed by absolutely nothing but government promises and collective blind faith. And because it's no longer anchored to a finite resource, central banks can run their digital printing presses at unprecedented speeds. They inject trillions of dollars out of thin air. And basic economics dictates that when the supply of something becomes infinite, its individual value inevitably approaches zero. Here's the dark truth that Wall Street and major central banks will never openly admit to you. Currency is no longer designed to store value. It is structurally designed to move. Cash is engineered to lose value by design, essentially forcing people onto a never-ending economic treadmill. When you leave your hard-earned cash dormant in a bank, it doesn't just sit there in a secure vault. The moment your deposit clears, the bank exploits a loophole known as fractional reserve banking. By law, they're only required to hold a tiny fraction, say 10%, of your actual cash. The remaining 90% is multiplied and immediately lent out. And what exactly do they do with it? They lend it to megacorporations, hedge funds, and ultra-wealthy investors. They use your dead cash to fund the acquisition of real, tangible assets for the elite. They're out there buying prime real estate, infrastructure, and profitable businesses with your safety-seeking capital, while leaving you holding a depreciating paper slip that buys less food and less fuel every single day. The true tragedy of this entire system is entirely psychological. The financial system exploits your deep desire for safety. Fear drives everyday people to hoard cash because holding it feels tangible and secure. You see the same numbers on your app and it gives you peace of mind. But if your account says $100,000 and that money only buys what $50,000 used to buy a decade ago, the nominal number on your app hasn't changed. But your financial reality certainly has. You've been robbed without a single person ever breaking into your home. By attempting to completely avoid risk through traditional, outdated saving methods, you are unintentionally taking the absolute greatest financial risk of all. Playing it safe in a rigged game is an automatic defeat. The middle class is trapped in a loop of perpetual erosion because we measure our wealth by the amount of currency we accumulate, rather than by inflation-resistant assets. Holding on to paper money in a rigged system is a losing game. Your life's effort is being drained away completely legally. But if the average saver is losing absolutely everything to this invisible decay, a critical question arises. Who is capturing all that lost wealth? Because wealth is never truly destroyed. It's simply transferred.
The answer is that there's a specific class of people who don't just survive this monetary decay, they deliberately engineer it, and they profit from it immensely. They absolutely love inflation. Why? Because they know a hidden secret about debt and hard assets that keeps them at the absolute top of the global food chain.
And in our next explainer, I will pull back the curtain on this exact mechanism. I will show you exactly why the ultra-wealthy absolutely love inflation and how they use it to their advantage while everyone else is just trying to save their way to wealth. I am Robert, and this is The Game.